General, I want to start with the larger question here. We are now in month 2 of this war. Ukraine is not just held. Ukraine has really stood up in the face of this attack. Yes, the Russians proved to be not as prepared for this. Do you think in a year, 2 years, 3 years, we're going to look back and say we did it just right, or are we going to say we should have done more sooner?
Well, my first reaction is we should have done more sooner. In fact, if we had gotten in front of the invasion, we probably could have made a pretty big difference with some of our actions. But since the war has started, we've done a pretty good job of trying to push the right kinds of things to Ukraine. There are still things they want that we intend to get them that we haven't gotten there yet, though.
Some of it's difficult. Look, logistically, getting them planes is not easy, is it?
It's not. It would be easy if there weren't all the considerations of how that happens and how Mr. Putin thinks about how that would happen. Not very hard to fly a MiG-29 from Poland into Ukraine, but right. It's hard to do in a geopolitical sense.
Well, I was just going to say, Poland clearly was eager to do it until somebody got in their ear, and then they said, never mind, you do it, America. Right?
Well, there's a lot of things going on that may not be terribly public about who's saying what to who, about how that would be perceived, et cetera. So I think that knowing these great Polish people, that there's more to the story that we'll learn as history unfolds this all.
Walk us through what you believe the conversation has likely been had inside that NATO meeting as they're trying to decide, okay, what is our response if Putin does this, or what are we going to do? So, you know, I don't know if you heard us earlier with Ambassador Dodler, who believes we should publicly state what we're going to do. Others don't believe we should do that. Where do you stand on this?
Well, we sort of did this going into this invasion. We told them that they were going to get incredible sanctions. Yet we didn't discuss them publicly, but we were assured that we had told them in private how tough those sanctions were going to be. And Mr. Putin took a measurement of us and decided, I can live with that, and he went in and invaded anyway. I think that maybe this time we should consider being a little more public, so that all the other 29 nations of NATO can sort of resound together in do not cross these lines of chemicals, biologicals, or nuclears, because that is a different regime. And I agree with Ivo on that.
How concerning is it to you that our top Pentagon officials are not able to have are not getting their calls taken by their Russian counterparts right now?
It is troubling. I had a hotline to Valery Gerasimov when I was there. We spoke for several months, right up until they invaded Crimea, and then we were directed to stop speaking. I thought that was a mistake, by the way, because when you go to conflict, you need to talk more rather than less. But it is worrisome. I do believe that part of this is a problem on the far side. We really haven't seen much of Shoigu or Gerasimov since the poor performance of this military, and one has to wonder what that means.
Nobody wants to try to figure out what's going on here, but and I know Russia has now said, hey, he's just busy. That's why you haven't seen the defense minister. It is obviously hard to take anything the Russians say at face value. We assume Putin's looking for a scapegoat. Could this be it?
Well, I don't know, but you also have heard that at least one of these individuals has suddenly developed a heart problem. So, I just wouldn't believe anything right now. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Putin is extremely unhappy with the performance of his military right now. And we haven't seen much from his civilian military leader or his uniformed military leader. And I think that's a pretty easy page to read.
Just on walk me through how we could confirm the phosphorus bomb allegation that President Zelensky told NATO about today.
Well, you're going to have to get a forensics team in there or get the Ukrainians to recover some. No matter what the Ukrainians find and show, the Russians are going to deny it. Right. And so we would need to get some real proof of what happened in there. And that's not that hard if you are at the impact point or the places where it impacted. This is something that our forensics folks could sort out.
When it comes to, we're about to hear from President Biden here in this press conference in about 90 seconds or so, and trying to deal with these red lines here. If we're trying to both get a ceasefire and punish Putin for doing this, can both be accomplished here?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Both sides are fighting for position on the battlefield now to give them better strength at the negotiating table. And I think every day Mr. Putin's negotiating position is dwindling and Ukraine's is growing. And so this is going to be an interesting dynamic as we start to talk about what the conditions of ending are. And Mr. Zelensky, he's a leader. So we'll watch and see how he works his way through this.